How you doing?
Sick with the coronavirus.
You sick, bro?
No, I'm not sick. Let me not say
You a
that.
little sick?
No, I'm fine. I got sick when I came back from Texas, but like now I'm like recovered.
So your people are sick,
Yeah, man, they be eating all types of shit.
bro. So you know what's funny? Before the coronavirus, the whole
Yeah.
thing came about. I watched this. There's this thing called Explain on Netflix.
Uh-huh.
That just explains a bunch of things, and one was a plague or pandemic or something. And the video was like, how we might die from a disease that goes crazy, and how the world is ready to react to it. And they were talking about the most likely way that we're gonna get like a crazy disease is through China, because Chinese people always eat crazy shit.
Yeah.
And they showed an example of a bat, and then the freaking coronavirus went viral, and I'm just like, oh shit, it's happening for real, bro. I saw this on YouTube, on Netflix, and that motherfuckers are crazy, son.
They are, bro. I don't know, man. It's not civilized there, you know. It's still very like a bunch of small towns and shit, little provinces.
Mhm.
So it's like,
So what's happening, man? So the coronavirus is a disease, right? It's like
it's just like a super cold, like it's
super
like a
cold?
flu.
But
Same
why is-
exact symptoms as a flu. It's just like mutated to the point where like we don't have treatment for it.
damn.
But like,
But it's a cold though.
yeah, you see how like we're young, right? Like our immune systems are fine. Our immune systems could probably fight it off.
So who
It's not, you know.
who are the people that are dying then? Because
It's
isn't there
more
like 150 people?
people
that are
with like weaker immune systems. I'm pretty
Like
sure
old
it's like
people?
elders or like just
kids.
like super young kids.
Are you scared?
I was at first just like because I kept reading about it, but
Yeah.
now I'm like, it's whatever,
You know
man.
what? I feel like it might be like the Ebola virus, like a couple years ago. How,
I mean, yeah, there's always something going on. Like, remember there was Ebola and then swine flu.
I think I was too young for swine flu.
That was like it was like a year or 2 years before Ebola, I think.
Really?
I think so.
heard swine
Actually,
flu
I
when
don't
was
know.
a kid.
Swine flu came from pigs, though. I think swine flu was from pigs.
I thought swine flu. Well, in the video on the Netflix video, they explained that they said the
Uh-huh.
swine flu came from the bird flu
Uh huh.
that went to pigs. So not the bird flu, like there's a disease from birds
Hmm.
that we can't get, but pigs can get.
And then we could get it from pigs, right?
Yeah, and then we would get it from pigs. So
Yeah.
it went from pigs to us, and I think it was bird flu or something like that. But shit, the world's ending, man. The world's
I think
fucking-
we'll be all right.
I don't think so.
It's just unlucky timing. Like it happened right around like Chinese New Year, so it's like, you know, a lot of people in China, right? Like, especially internationals,
Mhm.
like they send their kids to America or like to other countries because schooling is better.
Yeah,
And
or
then
they went back to China for a celebration or something.
yeah,
That's
Yeah.
crazy.
usually yeah. So like they'll either go back to China for celebrations. Usually, if a person still has family over in China for Chinese New Year, they will always go back.
You know what I heard? I
What?
heard this is a conspiracy.
This
Yeah, that there's a facility in what place is it?
in Wuhan, yeah.
Wuhan, China, where the Chinese government makes bio weaponry,
I don't know about that, man.
and one of the diseases.
I'm not saying that it's
leaked
not.
out, bro.
All right, I'm not saying that it's not possible, right?
Yeah,
But like,
bro, I'm all about conspiracies.
all right, so like,
conspiracies are my shit.
so to my knowledge, I saw that Wuhan is a small province, right?
Yeah,
And then they sell like a bunch of meat there, like any animal that you could think of, or like whatever
Yeah.
animals that are available there. They have a farmer's market for it.
then you could get bat and rats.
Yeah, you
and-
could, you
that's
really could.
crazy, son.
Even when I went to mainland China, right?
Uh-huh.
Bro, there was like some in mainland, like in the city, in the more rural areas or urban areas. There's like, so I'm from Taishan, and well, my family's from Taishan, and there's this one strip where it's like stores and food markets, right?
Yeah.
But like if you go around, there's like, you'll see like McDonald's and like little restaurants. Bro, I saw like fucking giant rats hanging.
That's crazy,
Yeah,
son.
but like
You
I want
know-
to eat that shit.
You know, after this whole coronavirus epidemic's happening,
Yeah.
people are exposing China and all the
Uh-huh.
crazy shit they do. Like people are like, "Oh, look what Chinese people are doing."
All right, but it's not just Chinese people. Like if you look in other cultures, like everybody eats like some
Weird animal.
some weird animal, but it's just like China is like they really do be eating everything, but you know, it's like
But I'm talking about just like the videos, and it's just China because
Uh-huh.
they're viral right now,
yeah.
and they have a lot of crazy shit happening over there. But I saw a video of this lady taking oil or like oil from the sewers, using them to cook.
What the fuck?
And I was like, what? Yeah, exactly. And then in the comments somebody said they do this because it's like it's cheaper than buying your own oil, and they do it outside of a restaurant. So what they do is they kind of like
Take the used oil.
take the used oil, but it's mixed in with all the crap and shit.
Yeah, that's nasty.
But they said it's because the oil kind of like flows on the top of the water because it's oil
Yeah,
and it's lighter.
It's different.
Yeah,
What is the density?
yeah, and then they reuse it.
That's fucking.
And I was like,
disgusting.
yo, that's crazy. And then the guy was like, yeah, if you're in China, don't buy like street food because they probably use that oil. But I'm assuming it's probably like one specific person, like a few people. They just kind of ruin it for everybody.
Yeah.
They just happen to. And then I saw the video of the lady with the fucking bucket and the sewer thing open. And then I saw a video.
They don't. It's because they don't think about this type of shit. Like in China, they're not as modern as like
but it's
big
also,
cities.
It's
you know?
also lack of education.
Yeah, it is. It is lack of education.
Like honestly, if you go to any third world country, you're gonna see that everywhere.
Yeah.
And it's weird because you put these third world
you
these,
compare it to your
yeah,
life.
and then you also put people that grew up in a rural area in a city, and then in the city they don't know how to like behave. Like
Yeah.
if you take my grandparents who are from a rural area, bring them to New York City,
Uh-huh.
I think they'll be fine only because they lived here before. But
Yeah.
like my great grandparents, probably not. They'll probably like I seen like because Mexico is pretty modern, but it's
Uh-huh.
rural areas, and I have seen at the airport like these ladies they don't know how the escalator works. they're just standing in front of it. And they're like, "Am I ready? Am I ready? Okay, I'm going." And they just jump on it, and they're just holding on to each other because they're scared. Because these are like they're not even old. They might be in the 30s or 40s, but you could tell they're like rural Mexican people because of the way they dress. Like they have like the trenzas and shit, which is like the braids, and they have like the colorful like dresses
The
and
poncho, right?
yeah, like stereotypical shit. Like
Uh-huh.
you'll see that, and it's not because they're dumb. It's just their lack of education. Like they might be smart at whatever they do, but because they're not from a like a metropolitan, they don't know how this works.
People like to assume. They
You-
like to judge.
You see that shit in where we work also. Like
Yeah.
we work with a lot of tourists, and some motherfuckers don't know how a revolving door works.
Yeah, they just. I was gonna say
They
that. They
jump
just
in there.
stand there and they're like looking at the handle.
Yeah,
I'm like, yo, you guys gotta push it.
yeah, it's weird,
know,
bro.
Yeah, that's true. Like they don't
But-
know. They don't know better.
But I feel like it's just right now China's just a modern like they're growing really fast, but the education's not growing as fast as. Well, actually no, because doesn't China have like really good education?
I'm not too sure about that. I don't think it's as good as other countries. Like I know a lot of international students to go to Europe for school or they come to the
I
States.
feel like it's just because China's so big. Like it's probably really good in like the big cities, but it's probably not good in the rural areas.
That I'm not too sure either. I have no idea honestly.
I feel like it's us comparing New York to
Mhm.
like all of China, but imagine us going to like I don't know like a really poor area of the U.S. and comparing it to like Shanghai or Hong Kong or something. Like obviously our people are gonna look way worse than them, so
Mhm.
it's really biased. So I don't know, man, because you could honestly like any of this crazy shit could happen anywhere. It just happens to be
Yeah.
China.
It's just that the media's on it now,
Uh-huh.
and you know.
It's also really hard to compare a country with 2 billion people to a small country. Like if you go to any European country like France or Italy, they're
Mhm.
really small, dude. They're like New York State is probably the size of France. Like is that like that relatively like that size relatively for whatever. But like it's a small country, and then they have a lot of power, and then you go there and all the people are civilized. They're really smart in
Yeah.
a sense. But that's because you have less people to control. You have less like diversity between income and stuff. And then you go to like a huge country like China where you have really wealthy people in Hong Kong, or you have really modern civilizations with the best technology. But then you could go to freaking a weird province in mainland China and then
It'll be
find the
like
opposite.
it'll be like farmlands.
Yeah, exactly. And then not even like farmlands. Like in the U.S., farmlands are advanced. They'll be like
Mhm.
rural areas where they probably don't even. They're barely aware of the government. Like they still probably believe in communist shit. You know what I mean? I don't know.
I mean so that's how like a lot of like going back to the oil shit, like
Yeah.
Chinese people just in general, like they're very practical in a sense where it's like they like to minimize costs for anything. So like the
Yeah.
reusing oil, like even at my house, like whatever plastic bags, right? Like we'll use them as like little
Yeah.
garbage bags. Like we just like to repurpose shit, but like we don't. I guess they don't. Well, I think about it, but like us as a people, like they don't think about like consequences like that. Like, they don't know better, you know. Like some of them don't even believe in Western medicine. Like they like these like home remedies.
Do you feel like that comes from a lot of oppression?
I think so.
Because like I feel like that mentality of like saving everything comes from a lot of like not having anything.
Well, I feel like. See, I grew up in democracy, right? But like, I think when my parents were kids, I think it was like communist China.
Yeah.
And you know how communism is. Like that shit is like it'll brainwash you.
I took like Chinese for a year,
Uh-huh.
like in middle school, and there were
Yeah.
showing us movies of how it changed from before the communist revolution to after the communist revolution, and then how people had to like they were during the war or whatever, like these rural areas, these farmlands, they had to give all their freaking like cooking ware to the government. Like not money, just straight up like you got a pot, you only need one, give me the rest of them, and then they'll melt it down to steel, and then they'll spread
Divide
it out
it,
through
yeah.
which is kind of nuts. Imagine
It
you work
is.
your whole life and they take everything away.
I mean, that's how it is, but that's normal for them. Like that's how it is. Like
Mm-hmm.
they didn't want people living luxuriously,
Yeah,
you know.
that's crazy, son.
But like I,
But even,
like
even before that, they were
if
like the Japanese came and freaking had internment camps and shit in China
yeah,
during World War II and shit. Before that, they were colonized. They had like the whole opium epidemic over there. I
Yeah.
don't know. They had a lot of shit, man. I'm not a history
I
person.
mean, like if you talk to a lot of like first generation Chinese people in America, like even me, like when I talk to like the natives,
yeah,
and like I just hear like how close minded they are, you know, just the way they think and
Yeah.
talk. Like I'm like, you know, you're like this for a reason.
mm-hmm.
But like, of course, change is possible. Like back then, my mom was super close minded, but now like she's open minded,
Mm-hmm.
and like I could talk to her about openly about stuff, and you know she'll respect my opinions. But there's plenty of first generations where you talk to them, they can be like, no, that's wrong.
Yeah.
And they're gonna tell you something, and you know if you don't listen to them, there's no end to it.
You see that a lot in Mexican culture also, where they're just kind of close-minded to specific stuff.
Yeah.
But it's just a lot of it's just tradition and you know the machismo and shit.
Mhm.
But I mean, you could see it. I mean, it's the same in this country. It's the
How
same
about in
everywhere.
like so like you say machismo, but
Yeah.
like how about in like first generation females though?
What do you
Because
mean?
like there's a lot of even like sometimes when I talk to like aunties or like my friends' parents, like the females, like I hear the way that they think, like I hear how they talk,
Mhm.
and like their way of thinking. I'm like, wow, that's very like close minded as well. So it's not just like the males. I feel like definitely the males are more expressive about it,
Mhm.
but like I see it in the females too.
You could see it in both
Yeah.
for Mexican culture, but it's just slightly different
Uh-huh.
because Mexico's kind of similar to America, where if you live in a big like a big city,
Yeah.
you're gonna be more liberal, and if you live in
Uh-huh.
a rural area, you're gonna be more conservative. Like a lot of Mexican people vote Republican because they believe in the same stuff like
Business savvy, right?
business, and then not just that, but like church. They're huge Catholics, so
Uh-huh.
they vote a lot of red. They support like they kind of like anti-gay. They kind of like you know like
Yeah.
church stuff. You know what I mean? They don't believe in abortion because they're really religious, and then so when it comes to stuff like that, like especially like religious based decisions, they're super strict and they think old school. Like if you tell them you're like atheist, they're just like, oh my god, like they're praying and shit.
Start praying for you.
Yeah, bro. They're gonna tell you go to hell and just it's crazy. But then if you go to like a city in Mexico,
Yeah.
they're gonna be more liberal. They're gonna be like they're gonna be a lot of gay rights and women rights and shit. But I mean, you can find it anywhere. Honestly, like you can find like strict conservative views in large cities, and you're gonna find liberal views in smaller towns. But the general idea is that it's the same as the U.S.
I don't know. I have hope though. You know, with the internet and just like more people sharing ideas, like
Mhm.
I feel like eventually open mindedness is gonna be
Everywhere.
yeah.
I just
it
feel
is.
like whether you believe one thing or another, I feel
Mhm.
like we should all be talking. like
Yeah, definitely.
discussing.
Like if you could sit down, I feel like it's you have a more productive conversation if you sit down with somebody with opposite beliefs. Like if you could hear them out, they hear you out,
Yeah.
and like you don't try to force each other, like force your ideals onto each other, but more of like you know, you guys just share the way you're thinking, try to put each other in like the different perspectives. Like
Yeah.
it helps you, you know.
You know, I feel like also people should be aware of their own biases and their own
Yeah.
like perspectives. Because I have a weird story. So yesterday or like 2 days ago, I was in class. And I have a lot of film classes, right? So in film class, you find a lot of people that are very open-minded.
Yeah.
In a sense, like not open-minded, but very like progressive and liberal. So we watched this clip of like a 30-minute movie, like a silent film. And in the movie, there was this guy pursuing this girl, and the girl was like no, and the guy was kind of like pulling her towards him, and then at the end, he kind of jumps on top of her, and she's like no, but then she throws her arms around him and hugs him, and then they start making out, and it cuts black, and you know they had sex and shit, and it cuts back to them on they were in the forest, so they're on the floor, and she's looking away like looking sad, and then he's just sitting upright like by her side, right? So it's kind of uncomfortable. That scene is uncomfortable, right? Like it's obvious that she didn't want it, but at the same time she did want it, and the guy kind of forced himself on her. So in my head, I was like, any second now, it's gonna cut to her crying with her mom or something, saying that she got raped. But it doesn't cut to that. It cuts to another scene that takes place like in the future where she's already married and she came back to see him, and then they're like, she obviously enjoyed her time together. Like I guess she just couldn't be with him. But then one of the girls was like saying there was a full-on rape when it wasn't. It was just like a weird situation. So when I was watching the scene, I thought it might be a rape, but it wasn't, right? So as soon as she said this was a rape, because I was so like I didn't like her perspective on it, and she was so aggressive that it was a rape, and then that this guy was a monster and that something tragic happened to her. My view went from it might be a rape to nope, she's fucking wrong. Like in my head, I was like, yo, why is this girl so freaking like being hardcore like I don't know.
She's a feminist.
I probably like hardcore like SJW. You know what I mean? Like a social justice warrior. But but then I kind of backed off a little bit, and I didn't raise my hand and just confronted her about it. And then I thought about it for a second. I was like, okay, so it was kind of rapey, but it wasn't full on rape. But the line is so small that it could fall either way.
Yeah.
So I was in the middle, and then as soon as she said that, I fell the other way, and I was like, it's not rape, it's okay. But honestly, it's pretty gray.
Yeah.
But the point,
there's always like that fine line.
yeah. But the point what I was trying to get to is that she brought it up. As a class, we kind of discussed it. Some other girl said it was violent, but it was not rape. I said that it's pretty gray, and I didn't agree it was rape. But the point is that we were able to discuss it as a class, and we all came to the conclusion that just like anything else, it's pretty ambiguous, and it could go either way. And they were comparing, because the whole movie was about nature and love. And we're comparing nature to love, how it's dark. I mean, it's beautiful, but then it could get really dark out of nowhere. And I don't know, it's a weird perspective that I just kind of thought about.
Damn, that is dope though. Like a silent film, because I feel like, you know, without verbal communication, you're just left to assume what's going on.
But I feel like what I'm trying to get at is like, I feel like as a culture and as a community of people that are growing up with the internet, we should all, instead of fight each other right away as soon as we see a situation and one goes this way, one goes the other way,
hear each other out, right?
We should just hear each other out and realize that we all are looking at stuff through a perspective, and our opinion changes depending on who is saying it.
I think that comes with time. Like it comes with time. Actually, I'll say time, but like, and maturity also. You know, like you gotta be mature enough to hear opposing ideas and even consider them. Cause I remember at a younger point in my life where it was like, you know, I just always thought I was right.
Yeah, so I always think I'm right.
Yeah, you know, it's just I'm pretty sure everybody does, but like, you know, when you're able to sit down with people and hear other ideas and then like consider everything and try to pick one to be the most fitting, like it comes with experience, and you gotta really talk to people.
You also gotta be aware.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, I like just something up because I'm like I have to be aware that I'm also thinking of things in like a specific perspective.
Yeah. Not everybody's built like you, you know.
Yeah,
Or like,
exactly. And I have a different view. Like
Yeah.
we also the same thing, but we all came out with different opinions of what
Yeah.
we saw. And to me, it wasn't a rape, but it could easily go that way.
yeah.
It could easily be a freaking. I kind of like if she didn't jump on him, it would be a sexual assault. Like she was touching him and shit. Like I mean, he was touching her and shit. Like it was kind of crazy, but you know, I guess that was the intention of the movie to make it very, like
Who knows? Maybe that girl got assaulted some way.
yeah, maybe she's sensitive to that subject.
Yeah.
So I'm not. That's,
You
that's
never-
a
you
big
never
reason.
know.
Yeah, like to her, she might have like dealt with first person accounts to stuff. I haven't, so I'm more. I want to say like more less sensitive to it, but I'm probably not as touchy.
I feel like as guys too, like guys do get raped, but like
We're like it's way different. Like,
Yeah,
honestly,
like,
like
I think we get pleasure from it, like regardless.
it depends. It depends on the rape is such a weird thing because if I like, especially in our okay, before we get to that, I gotta pee real quick, bro.
Alright.
I'll cut it. So I mean, I don't know if you want to talk about rape and shit. That's a little heavy.
It is.
Yeah, I mean we could. I was gonna say is that rape is such a weird thing because during the Me Too movement and shit, I'm not trying to say anything against it or be like weird about it, but there were situations where like two people consented into
Wait,
sex.
should we clap or not?
Nah,
No, it don't matter. Okay.
nah. We need to clap if the camera cuts
Flicks off. Okay.
Yeah, like flicks off in the sense that like it freezes and have to restart a new
Oh,
file.
okay. Gotcha.
Okay, so those situations, very rare situations. Like they're not all over the place. I'm not saying every
All right,
girl does
let me
this.
just ask you then. So for you, because I
Yeah.
know, like, for you, what is the fine line for where something is rape and where it isn't?
Yeah, so it's weird, right? Because
Yeah.
we categorize rape as a guy, kind of. Oh, there's no real definition. I don't think so. But what I'm saying is that there were situations where two consenting adults had sex, and then the woman regretted it, and then claimed that she got raped by the guy, and then the guy gets tried, and gets called a rapist the same way a guy who broke into a house, forcefully raped a woman, and then left. So now they're both rapists when there's two different situations. And there's a lot of weird specific examples where a rapist got away with it, or a rapist kind of like ended up in jail because of, something that was kind of ambiguous. I feel like there should be different categories. So like if I
like tiers, right?
tiers I don't know if there is actually. I never searched it
I
up.
don't think there is.
Yeah, because if you're a murderer, right?
Because
and
so like if you're caught having sex in public, right, you get listed as a sex offender, and like sex offender, like
or if you pee.
yeah, like it's so broad,
Yeah.
like
But people they don't see what you did. They just see the word sex offender.
if you see somebody's sex offender, you're like, oh shit.
Also another way, if you're a minor, like if you're in high school and you're under 18 and you have sex with a girl,
That's like 17, right?
yeah, like 17 or 16, right? Their parents, if they find out, they could say you raped her when it was consensual.
Damn.
But it's just because she's a minor. But you're technically a minor also. But either way, you're not supposed to do that stuff.
Damn.
Or maybe she sends you like nudes or something. That's as a sexual offender also.
Times are changing, man.
Yeah, it's real weird. So that's what I was trying to say, that the word rapist is very ambiguous because it could be a guy. Well, I don't know if things change, so I don't even want to say that. Like, but I feel like there should be like different tiers, like murderers. Like there's
First
like
degree,
manslaughter.
second degree.
Yeah, like manslaughter is like you died because of me, but I didn't pull the trigger. But then it's also like first degree or second, third, where
Yeah.
like I killed you, but I didn't intentionally wanted to kill you, right? Where like we got into a fight and I punched you in the jaw and you fell and cracked your head open. Or there's also like freaking serial killer that goes around just killing and raping and murdering everybody. That's way different than a guy who just, ended up falling and then stabbing somebody. I don't know. It is a really freaking dark conversation.
But for you though, like, what would you consider rape? Like for me, right? I would say if it's consensual, then it's not rape.
Yeah, but what is consensual?
Like verbal consent.
Because there's times
For
where
me.
like it's very ambiguous because in the movie she said no like 4 times, right?
Okay.
And at the last second, she's like, all right, she just kind of like gave in, and they did it. If she regretted it after, she might say it was rape because she said no 4 times, and then she
At
kind of
first,
went
right?
along with it. Maybe she could say that she went along with it because she felt like she was in danger.
Like she was getting pressured.
Yeah, or maybe it's like, oh yeah, if I felt like if I didn't go along with it, he was gonna hurt me, so then that's rape. But it was kind of consensual.
I think it's always harder on the guys too, cause like guys
We need a
are
female man.
guys are the one. Yeah,
Because we're honestly like while we're talking,
we have the male perspective.
we have the male perspective.
Yeah,
So
that's why I
we-
wanted like.
We need a female.
Yeah, I think it would be dope to have like different me and you, we're two different perspectives.
Yeah,
but I feel like male and female is like.
yeah. So again, everything we talk about, take it with a grain of salt. We're not experts. We're just
Yeah.
kind of sharing ideas off the top of our dome. So if something sounds really wrong, I mean, we're not really that crazy serious about it.
It's just personal opinions,
Don't rate people, please. Nobody.
Unless you want to go to jail.
Not even like if you want to go to jail. Cause why somebody be like, yo, I want to go to jail, bro. I heard jail's tight.
That's true. Never mind. Just don't do it, man. Just don't do it. Just play with yourself, or
What are you gonna say? Sorry.
cause yeah, like like guys are the ones that we have to like insert ourselves into the female,
Yeah.
So I feel like it's more, I don't even know the word, but like it's like more aggressive.
So
like if a girl wants to like rape a guy, right? Like she would have to make him hard.
What if you get raped, but it's not? It's like she freaking pegs you.
Oh,
You didn't think of that, right? She'll force. You don't have to be hard or anything.
You don't.
She's like, I don't need anything. I just gotta penetrate you with a fucking, I don't know, dildo or something. Like it'll get crazy, son.
that is pretty crazy.
I don't know.
But
This is a
yeah,
weird-ass
I was
conversation.
just thinking of it like without toys or
Yeah.
like
'Cause I
just
feel
straight
like-
up our organs.
I feel like it's less likely and less, like, intense if a guy gets raped than a girl. Cause if you think a guy got raped, you kind of imagine like a guy just kind of like
He gets laid.
he gets
Like,
laid.
oh, lucky guy, right?
But when you think of a girl, it's like, yo, I imagine the worst. I imagine a fucking serial rapist broke into her house and just tied her up and shit. Like that's too much, man. I feel like it's too
I think those are the most extreme cases, and like even like I don't know how like sometimes there's like rape cases and stuff, but like anytime I hear rape, I go to that most extreme
Extreme?
case. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, man. This is a weird thing. It's a good thing we don't study law. But again, like we don't know the laws. Maybe there is a freaking law where that separates different types of
Yeah,
like
I don't
sexual
really know
assault
either.
and rape and stuff. I don't know.
But to my knowledge, I don't know that there is.
All right, let's switch topic because this is freaking. I don't like it. I don't like it, dude. I don't like it.
Back to the coronavirus.
Rape. This is so weird. But we came up with this because we thought that people should just have more conversations and talk about stuff.
Yeah.
Which I think is true. Like if people think our perspectives are wrong, then don't scream at us or anything.
Yeah.
We're just kind of like
Give us your opinions. Shed some insight of
you know what problem I have
what.
with people. They're so prideful
Uh-huh.
that if they have an opinion, even if they're wrong, they'll still defend it as much as they can because they feel like first they don't want to be a hypocrite. Second, they don't want to be wrong.
I mean, but if they're like that, time is gonna come to bite them in the ass. Like eventually they're gonna say or do something that's gonna show them as a hypocrite.
But even like different stuff, like
I mean, people
who change their opinions.
yeah, exactly. People do change.
Yeah.
Like.
But the thing is that the issue I have is when people do change their opinions, they get called a hypocrite. I feel like that should be wrong. Like let's say, like I'm not a Hillary Clinton supporter, but people always brought up the fact that she used to be anti-gay rights back in the day, and now she's for gay rights when she was running for president, and they were saying that she was only changing her point of view to
get supporters.
The votes. But I don't know if that's a good first of all, people could change their mind, right?
Yeah.
And if they do change their mind,
I feel like it's good if anything.
Yeah,
Because then it's
exactly.
like now somebody was able to convince them
yeah,
to change their perspective
like
for the better.
yeah, for all your thoughts and all your opinions, you should never be 100% any opinion because, don't be scared to be called like a freaking hypocrite or a flip flopper in ideas because you should be taking all the information in.
Yeah, but you
And
see,
then-
like, oh, I'm sorry, but you see what we were saying, right? It's not like we were speaking based off of emotion. We're
Yeah.
speaking based off of what we know.
Yeah.
So it's not like
And our knowledge is very limited.
yeah,
Real shit, bro.
yeah, it's limited, but it's not like we're. And I feel like the stuff that we were saying is not super opinionated, so
Yeah.
it's like, I don't know why somebody would get offended.
Dude, it's not whether you're gonna get offended. It's
Uh-huh.
whether people are gonna twist our words and say, "Yo, we're pro rapist." Like honestly, like the topic we're talking about right now, I feel like I'm comfortable talking about it because
Yeah.
we're a small channel and not a lot of people watch us.
Uh-huh.
But
If it was
if it was big and
Yeah.
people are like, "Yo, they're talking about,"
people take shit out of context.
yeah, like I think something recently happened with Rogan, where everybody's saying that Rogan endorses Bernie Sanders.
Hmm.
Because like 10 episodes ago he was like, yeah, I don't know who I'm gonna vote for. I might vote for Bernie Sanders. That's what he said. And now everybody's like, yo, he's on the Bernie bandwagon, he's supporting Bernie, he hates everybody else. So I'm just like, god damn, son, like why y'all going crazy?
People like to just
Or even like
they like to stir shit up, man.
Robert Downey Jr. was on Rogan and he was
Uh-huh.
talking about how it was to play a black
Oh
character.
yeah, I saw he got mad. Tropic Thunder, bro.
Yeah.
That was so long ago too.
Yeah,
like-
he got mad heat for it. And I'm just like, really? Like,
But you,
is it such a big deal? He didn't, because, okay, we're going to another heavy topic, which is blackface.
yeah,
Blackface is weird because if you tan yourself and you're not that color, you're automatically doing blackface. But blackface was a different thing where back in the day they used to freaking paint their skin with like,
yeah, because they
like-
didn't want black actors, actresses.
yeah. But the blackface, I don't know. You could freaking try to like change my mind because I don't know all the details. But I thought blackface was a specific type of a character or something that is played by a white person,
Mhm.
which is super black skin with the red lips and the white gloves. I felt like that was blackface. When a guy, tans himself to look like Native American, I don't know if that's blackface. It still might be racist, but I don't know if it's specifically blackface.
For Robert Downey Jr.'s character, I think it
Yeah.
is blackface, because they painted his skin, and
To
then
look-
he had a wig on.
Yeah, but he didn't do the red lips and
Oh,
the
no,
big white gloves. I'm talking
I mean,
about,
honestly, when I watched that movie, I thought it was a black person.
yeah, but that's before I knew
Yeah,
who Robert
before
Downey Jr. was.
same.
Um,
I think that was probably the first Robert Downey Jr. film I saw.
I don't know.
And I didn't even I really thought he was a black guy too. Like,
We need a black guy here too. Because we show like this is another thing, right? That I don't like
yeah,
is that if you're not black, you're not allowed to comment on something. There's
Right.
like because a lot of people were giving them shit because
Yeah.
Robert Downey Jr. and Joe Rogan are two white males who are talking about something that has to do with black culture, and people are saying like, why are two black males discussing whether, why are two white males discussing whether discussing whether this is blackface or not? And I'm just like, that's kind of
fuck that.
unfair. Right?
Yeah, we're allowed to talk about shit. Like, it's not like we're saying hateful shit. You know,
yeah.
like,
But that's some shit that we're
what is
getting.
it? This is just shit that you
I guess
just call them social justice warriors and trigger
Yeah,
them.
bro. I'm only allowed to talk about Mexican shit. He's only allowed to talk about Chinese shit.
Man, that's not how it
This is
is.
gonna be the Mexican and Chinese channel.
I mean, like, you see all the hate that like Chinese people are getting right now about the coronavirus. Like, I'm not gonna get my feelings hurt about it.
Yeah.
Like,
You know what's crazy?
if somebody has a problem with me myself about it, like, I'll deal with that. But like,
You're gonna get canceled, bro.
I don't give
You're
a
gonna
fuck,
get canceled.
man.
Fake news is gonna get you. You know what's crazy?
I'm still gonna do me.
You know what's crazy?
What?
If we live in a world where we're only allowed to talk about our cultures, I wouldn't be able to survive that. Because I grew up Mexican, American, in a black
Yeah,
neighborhood,
exactly.
right?
Same. Like,
So it's kind of weird because I know more black culture than Mexican culture. Like
Word.
all my music is rap music.
Word.
I watch a lot of like, I guess it's a mixture. Obviously, like my music is black.
that's the beauty
My
of the
movies
world,
are
man. Like, mixing
pretty-
cultures, learning about other people. It's
Yeah.
like, why do you have to be tied down to,
Like
like the color of your skin or whatever? It's like, we're all individuals. It's like up here, like,
yeah, it's weird, man.
like people just
Like if I start making, if I become like a rapper, it's like, yo, he's not really a rapper because he's not black. You get that a lot. Like I feel like people
Hell
get
yeah,
that less
bro.
with me being Mexican and talking about black culture than a
Uh-huh.
white person talking about black culture, because like I'll get less shit for it because I'm Mexican and
Yeah, same,
I'm a
same.
minority, right?
I think, yeah.
But I
even-
feel like it's fucked up either way. Like if a white person talks about black culture, it should be the same Like,
I think it's the way they say it, you know, definitely, because like some people they sound super ignorant when they
Yeah.
talk about shit.
but a lot of people know their fact. It's just the fact that, like, let's compare it to food. Like people always kind of shit on that white guy who learned how to do sushi, and now he opened a sushi restaurant. And they're like,
Yeah.
oh, are you?
Man,
What's it called when they
cultural appropriation.
Yeah, why are you appropriating my culture?
Man.
Like, nah, bro, that motherfucker went to Japan
Word,
and learned how to
exactly.
do
Like,
sushi the right
just
way,
shut the
bro.
fuck up.
I mean, I don't get mad. I do kind of get mad when
It's
like,
just annoying, bro.
for me, I get mad when it's like Taco Bell. Like the owner of Taco Bell is like a white guy who was looking at a taco stand across the street and took their stuff and then made a company out of it, right? That's a little iffy, bro. Like that's like the guy who makes his money off Mexican culture is a white guy. That's a little crazy. I guess a little crazy. But if you're a Mexican dude that's just fascinated by that freaking Mexican culture and you open a taco restaurant, I'm like, all right, that's kind of cool.
All right, yo, listen to this though.
But you also gotta be cool with the Mexican people, bro.
Yo,
Like,
almost every restaurant I go to in New York, there's a fucking Mexican
we
in
know
the
how to
kitchen.
cook,
Yeah,
bro.
in the
We
kitchen,
know
bro.
no,
It's not even that you guys know how to cook, but like you know, like y'all willing to work and willing to learn. Like, hey, if that shit's good, I'm gonna eat it.
Yeah.
You know,
Honestly,
like,
I don't care who makes the food as long as
yeah,
it's like
exactly,
done the right
like,
way. But
people
I
just
don't know.
get butthurt about shit. I don't know, man. Like, honestly, like I don't know why people get offended. I feel like you should be happy or like you should be proud that like
Cultures are mixing. And
yeah,
stuff.
like other people is interested in your culture. Like they're fucking with your ideals. Like that's cool. You know,
I
I think that's dope.
I feel like the idea of cultural appropriation came from the right place. It's just now overblown.
Taking
'Cause
out of context and shit, right?
The way cultural appropriation started out was when it started with like the black community, I think, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where they'll work in in offices in white like areas,
Mm-hmm.
and they were not allowed to have like cornrows or afros. They had to assimilate to the white culture.
Yeah.
They were not allowed to play their music, right? And then as soon as black culture became popular, it was okay for everybody to do it, right?
Yeah.
So why is it that when we're at work, Becky with her blonde hair could have cornrows, but this chick can't because she's black? Like I feel like that's where the cultural appropriation started. Like you're benefiting from my culture while my culture was being oppressed. Like
That's crazy, bro.
Yeah, but now it's kind of overblown, and now it's like, yo, I'm like, if I'm freaking listening to Kendrick Lamar, like it's cultural appropriation. Like not really. Like you're overblowing it. I just appreciate it.
It is crazy though, cause like the whole thing with that and like what is it when like police they like you know they're more like inclined to like search a black person or like a Hispanic person.
I don't know. I mean, I know
racial
what you're saying.
profiling.
Yeah.
Like I feel like that. Like,
feel like that exists.
black people probably have it the worst, man.
Yeah, but it's also like it's kind of in the middle too. Like if I don't know, man, it's all deeper than it sounds.
Yeah, it is.
Because the thing is that like
it's crazy, man.
Yeah, because like if there's cultural appropriation, not cultural appropriation, if there's racial profiling,
Mm-hmm.
and cops are pulling over more black people, it might just be because there's more black people in that specific neighborhood.
It's just it's a statistic thing too, you know.
And then there might be more people getting searched in a dangerous neighborhood that happens to be a black neighborhood, or it might be a black neighborhood that's low income because they're still suffering from the oppression and slavery and stuff. Like I saw this again on Netflix, like this Explained video.
Mm-hmm.
This show called Explained. They talked about like the racial wealth, the divide between, how do you say it? The race gap.
Yeah.
I don't know how to say it. Like the average black man makes like 80% of what a white man does when he makes 1%, like 10%. I mean, not like sorry, I'm fucking this whole shit up. Alright, so
it's just lower, right? The
yeah,
income?
so like average black male makes less than the average white male,
Yeah.
obviously, right? But why is that? And it all leads back to slavery. How basically all the white people got a head start because they're still
Yeah.
benefiting from all the the slavery that happened 200 years ago.
They're
For
starting
400
like
years.
10 steps back.
Yeah, so old money keeps growing, and it's
Yep,
really easy
exactly.
for white communities to get into better neighborhoods, become successful, and even if there's not like direct racism happening right now, like black communities are still being affected by their grandparents being enslaved or discriminated against or not being allowed to move to a nicer neighborhood. So that kind of racism is still prevalent. But then again, I don't know if like police are specifically picking out black people to, you know, search them. I don't know, it's this shit goes way deep.
I'm sure they are, you know, like, you know, I feel like a white person with a hood or like a Chinese person with a hood is gonna look less suspicious than like a black person with a hood on, you know.
Yeah.
Like it comes down to that. Like there's like definitely like racial privileges.
But what I was trying to say is like, why is that one person getting profiled? Is it because he's racist? Like the cops?
It could many reasons, like racist. Just like if you look at it from like a statistic, just like statistics, I'm pretty sure that like minorities, colored people are like more prone to doing crime.
Yeah.
And that goes back to saying what
that's what I was gonna say.
The generation thing that you were saying, like it goes way back to that. Like there's just many possibilities. I'm not saying like I'm not trying to pin it to one thing.
Yeah, exactly. That's
but I'm just bringing it up.
Yeah. That's exactly what I was gonna say. Like like statistically, more minorities do more crimes, but that might be not because we're, you know, a lesser people, we're more crime ridden than other people. It just might be because we have less opportunity to make it in this country, or we might be still suffering from the oppression we had years ago, or we might be still oppressed.
Definitely. There's like, even me growing up, like, you know, like I learned that, you know, life is not fair. Like some people just they start at a better starting point than you do, but like, you know, like what can you do about that? I can tell you, like,
selling drugs.
It's your attitude. Like you could cry about it and be like, yeah, life's not fair, or you could work harder. You could, you know, do what you can to try to catch up, and eventually, like, you don't have to, it's not always about you, right? Like for me, the way I see it, it's like I'm not as far as like, you know, some people, but like I want to give my kids the opportunity, right? Like also, I see it as like a generational thing.
I feel like there's that where like if you know that you're kind of like lower in the ladder or behind in the race, you gotta push harder and work harder. But if you got like advantages in your life, you have to be aware that not everybody else did.
Yeah, that's what I learned, because like, you know, like, so the main thing for me was that like we were saying, like growing up, you don't pay bills and shit, right? But then when you do start paying bills, like I realized that my family's smart. Like my parents, they bought a house, right? Yeah. So like I feel like now, once you pay off that house, now you don't have to worry about like rent and shit, right? I mean, there's still other bills to pay, but like rent is a big thing in New York, right? Yeah. And I realized that like a lot of people in New York, they live paycheck to paycheck paying rent, right? And I'm like, it's damn, crazy. Yeah, like I didn't think of that back then. Yeah. But like if you see it like that, if you're paying rent, right, and this is what you plan to do till your day comes, right? Like you're not giving your next generation like a great starting point. Like I don't know, I guess it's like from my kids, they'll probably have a better point than what that kid will have. But like, you know, and of course it's like if that's what you're happy doing, then do it. But like for me, just looking at it from a logical standpoint, I'm like, this is the better thing to do.
Yeah, I feel like your parents did a good choice by buying a house, especially in New York City, dude. Yeah. They probably bought it when it was like cheaper, and now it's probably like a couple million just to sell that.
Yeah, it like tripled in value.
And another thing is that if they go to a point where they want to move,
you can sell that, and you're gonna be rich somewhere else.
Yeah, and
that's what they wanted to do.
It's the thing about I forgot who told me that when you rent a house, you're just dumping money, and you never get it back.
You're paying for somebody else, you know.
Yeah, and then if you buy something, you're paying a little bit more. But that's yours, and then when you're done with it, you go sell it.
Exactly. It's just about, you know, like I'm not saying it's a right or wrong decision, but it's definitely a smarter decision. Yeah. And it's scary because it's like, so I think a big argument for going to like buying your own house is that, you know, of course it's a commitment. It's going to be a long-term commitment.
It's yours though.
But yeah, I feel like ultimately you have to like consider your goals, like for me, I've always known that I wanted to raise my own family, so it's like this is the smartest thing for me to do. And I'm not saying that like
our goal, our goal for this channel is to
Yeah.
have generational wealth.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I wanna like I wanna pass knowing that like I've left my next generation a good starting point. You know, like I don't want I don't want them to
Not
go through
just-
the struggles that I have.
Another thing I do want to do is leave my kids with not just money, but knowledge.
Yeah,
And
for sure.
And like, because I feel like a lot of parents drop the ball with the freaking, like, yes, your kid's gonna be good for the rest of their life with the money, but
Yeah.
that little motherfucker's an asshole.
Yeah, exactly. That's a big thing too. Like, that's why for me, like, communication is so important. Like, you got like just expressing yourself, and you like one of the hardest things about communication is putting your thoughts into words.
Yeah.
Cause like a lot of like you can say you talk about stuff, but like what if your words get taken out of context and then somebody else now? Cause it's a game of telephone, you know.
Yeah. Honestly, yeah.
That shit gets lost in translation.
Bro, we're gonna be on the New York Times. Oh, this small channel is talking about rape.
Shit.
Two non-black males are talking about black culture. I'm like, bro, they're gonna come after us, son.
Hey man, then we put out a statement, yo. Like fuck it, like we defend ourselves. Like I'm not gonna take that shit.
Nah, you know
like even Robert Downey Jr. He put out a statement. He stood his ground. Like he's like, I didn't do anything wrong. My intentions, you know, like his intentions weren't bad. And
hey, you know what is if that happens? That's publicity, bro. We're gonna get our name out there.
Yeah, fuck it then. Cause like, yo, look, if I'm out here doing what I do, like,
Yeah.
I know that I'm not trying to hurt your feelings. If you get your feelings hurt, like I don't know why you got your feelings hurt. Like you're not reciprocating what I'm putting out.
Yeah.
It's just that you're in your own head with your own assumptions, and now you're mad at something. Yeah, like
I feel like a lot of people do that. A lot of people that don't have nothing
definitely.
to cry about, they find something to cry about.
and. I'm just gonna say
I felt
it's
attacked.
a maturity thing, you know. It's a maturity thing. Like
just because you get insulted doesn't mean you're right.
yeah, like
You know what? I do trust the people, man. I trust I feel like a lot of people, especially like on the internet, they're
Yeah.
like the vocal minority. But I
Yeah.
feel like the overall community, the overall
Yeah.
United States, I feel like we all think pretty similarly.
I think so too.
It's just a couple little assholes.
I have hope too. Like, cause especially the internet, like the information is there.
I got hope from the Sticks and Stones, the Dave Chappelle, his stand up.
Yeah,
His stand up
word.
got destroyed by the critics.
But then a lot of people stood up for
Dude,
it
he got
too.
98.
I know, bro.
He got 98.
You see
like,
that I
on
do
Rotten
have
Tomatoes.
hope. Like
He's funny as fuck.
he is good, you know. And it sucks that it's like,
Like
you know,
the critics kind of shut on him. He got
Yeah.
0, I think, on Rotten Tomatoes from the critics, and then 98 out of
soft motherfuckers.
I
Soft
don't know, man.
motherfuckers.
It's weird, cause it's weird, man. We live in a weird world.
Hey man, that's why like I feel like New York City is so great because like you just go through so much shit. Like you're living life in like the fast lane, just with everything, with your hustle, your mentality. Like you learn in a rate where it's like it's forced upon you, and like
Yeah.
if you don't take it, you're just not gonna grow. You're gonna be stagnant, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But like if you just open, you keep your mind open, you take everything as it is, like you just grow so fast.
Yeah, man. I also feel like you have to be, like, you can't just dig yourself in a path your whole life. I feel like you have to be free. Like, I feel like it's a bad thing that kids do when they're really young. It's like, oh, I'm gonna be a doctor. I'm gonna be a doctor. I've been saying I'm gonna be a doctor since I was 10.
Yeah.
And then 50 years later, you're like, I didn't really want to do what I want to do, man.
Yeah.
I feel like, and then you could get the opposite, where like I figure like
That's the harsh reality of shit, though. You know, like of course, like if everybody had the option, they probably would be wanting to do something creative. But
Yeah.
it's like, you know, like us doing this, like we talked about it for a long time before we actually did
Yeah.
it. But it's like you got to be able to be brave enough to try something new too.
yeah,
you know,
I feel like the brave part is a big thing, because I
Yeah.
feel like a lot of people are scared of not knowing
Oh,
what's
hell
gonna
yeah,
happen
bro.
next, right?
Hell yeah.
Like we don't know if this is gonna blow up,
Yeah,
but
we don't
we're
know.
fucking gonna try it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Fuck it. I feel like a lot of people are scared of of the unknown. Like they don't know what they're gonna do. They don't know what's gonna happen next
That's
year.
life, man. That's life. Like
Yeah, but I see it differently. I see it like, yo, I don't know what I'm gonna do next year. That's great, because that leaves my whole freaking book open.
That's
for me
why
to do whatever I want.
you should just try new things. You know, like just meet new people. You never
Don't
know
be
what's
scared,
gonna happen.
man.
Yeah, don't be scared. You know, there's nice people out here. Everybody's struggling. You know, like me and Victor, we're struggling together, and it makes shit easier. You know, to have people
And
by
if we
your
make
side.
it, bro, it makes a
Yeah,
good
you
ass
know?
story.
Yeah, right.
Like, yo, we we used to record in my apartment. But if we get a studio and we get like all this shit, and man, we start making movies.
Hey man, just looking back at shit, it would just be so cool. You know, like it paid off. It was worth it. You know, that struggle, like that's what I love to hear. Like the success story, of course, like I'm happy for people, but like I like to hear the climb, you know, like that's where all the juicy info is.
I don't want to know that your freaking daddy gave you $1 million. A small loan of $1 million to start your company. That's just whack.
You see, that's how that life is unfair, bro. Some people just have better starting points, and you know, not even to like hate on him, but like.
But honestly, like if you make $1 million,
he made it work. Yeah,
it's easier than making zero. I mean, it's easier than making.
I'm not gonna say.
$1 million.
I'm not gonna say.
It's still hard.
Yeah, because it definitely still requires work. You know, like. Because when you're playing with $1 million, trying to turn it into $2 million, like you gotta have the knowledge to know how to flip that money. Like somebody easily could turn that $1 million to zero. You know.
Yeah, but again, like I feel like it's if you have money, it's way easier.
Definitely, like you just have more resources with money.
Yeah, and then it's just whether you have ambition,
more options. Exactly.
I feel like you get a kid with no money, with ambitions, and he'll be way more successful than the kid that grew up in a wealthy home if he had no ambitions.
Yeah, definitely.
But it's just, I don't know. It's a lot of factors. You gotta raise your kids right, man. Even if you're rich, you gotta have, you know, respect for children.
Word. That's a big thing for me. Like,
if I'm successful,
I don't ever want no snobby kids.
Yeah, like honestly, like I feel like you're thinking way ahead than I am. Like, I'm not thinking of families.
Yeah.
I'm not thinking of kids.
That's the end goal for me, bro. I wanna raise a family.
If I end up with a family, right? Yeah. If I end up with a family,
that's right. You always got me.
There,
you could be Uncle Victor. You know?
Nah, that sounds creepy, son. I just come. I'll be. You know what I'm gonna be, bro? If you have kids, I'm gonna be that uncle that gives them beer. Oh, fuck your kids up, son.
Well, you know what? If they're from my bloodline, then I can be able to handle alcohol.
You're gonna be. I'm gonna go visit them, and you're gonna be wondering why all your kids are red. But what I was trying to say is that if I have kids, right, I'm definitely gonna, like, it's about having generational wealth, but it's also about having a stable, mentally health family.
I think that's important too.
You know, like, I don't want my kid shooting up a school. I don't want my kid like not being ambitious and not wanting to pursue their dreams and shit.
Did you watch that Netflix documentary, Don't Fuck with Cats?
Yeah, it's good.
I just finished it last night. That shit is good. Like, man, that shit is so crazy, bro. Like, you saw how the mom reacted. Like,
yeah, she was offended.
No. Like, I like, as a parent, like, I understand too, but it's like, it's crazy. Like, sometimes you don't even have control of it. You know, that's the scariest part.
What would you do? Yeah, obviously.
Like that like you can tell from that documentary that the mom was super supportive, but it's just like it came down to the kid, you know, like
honestly, like if you're it might not be her. She might be like a single parent and she has to spend all her time working. Yeah, that is true. And then the kid is just like out there in the world. Like that happens a lot. Like it's not like we know there's a lot of factors that contribute to your kid being a fuck up. Like it's not all just you or you know what I mean, right?
Yeah.
But what would you do if you had a kid who was a serial killer?
I was thinking about that, and I was talking to my significant other about it. Like, for me, something like that's something that goes against my moral code. Like, you taking somebody else's life, like,
you gotta put that kid down.
I wouldn't put him down, but like,
I'll put him down. Bro.
I would disown him. Like, I can't.
I'll do the freaking of Mice and Men.
I'd probably actually be disappointed in myself too. Like, I would probably partially blame myself because I would be like, I failed. I failed as a parent.
But what if it was like a weird? He got a weird gene.
I don't know.
Or maybe he just because there's stuff you can control. But
if there's a logical explanation to it that leads to me not blaming myself, then I'll be like
what if he just was mentally like he had schizophrenia or something and he just kind of handled it and he just went on a rampage.
Fuck yo, I don't know, man. Like,
maybe. I don't know.
I would just try my best to instill good morals into them. You know, like
there's only so much you could do. I feel like at a certain point you gotta. I'm kind of just joking. I said I would put him down.
You would put him down.
I mean, this all.
I can't do it. I can't do it because like I just said, it's my moral code. Like I would never take somebody else's life.
But he's your own creation.
I think
you brought him into this world. You gotta take him out.
I think the only way that I could justify me taking somebody's life is if in self-defense, and I feel like it's them or it's me.
Nah, bro. Give me a person.
Or like
I'll do it for you.
if it's like if it's my family or them, like I'm gonna pick my family. But like that's only in like an extreme case where it's like if we're being attacked or like, you know, like we're being robbed or something like that, you know, like. But in those circumstances, do I think that's ever okay to like take somebody else's life?
What if they were? What do you think about the death penalty?
Death penalty? I think it's
Like, you're not directly killing somebody, but you are allowing somebody to get killed in your community if you support the death penalty. Again, I'm not, like, I agree with him. I'm not down to kill anybody, even though I said
so. For me, like, I feel like learning lessons in life come best through experience, but I feel like that's super unfair when you take somebody else's life as a learning lesson. Like, I feel like for me, that's going too far. Like, you know, drawing fine lines.
So you don't believe in the death penalty?
No,
I
would say that
This is a tough question, right?
It is, man, cause like, so I know in China, right? It's either I think you get put to death or you're just in jail for life for any crime,
I heard
like any levels of crime.
Yeah.
It's you're put to death or you're going to jail for life. And the thing with that is that, you know, like people, they don't fuck around with that. Like they know they know the consequence.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like with the death penalty, if it's out there and you know it, right? Like
it might deter somebody from doing crime.
Yes.
I don't know if that's true. I heard statistically,
unless they want it.
I heard this statistically. I heard this from people that are anti death penalty, and they were saying that the death penalty doesn't deter criminals from doing crimes.
So what would their solution be? Like what I need, because like me, my knowledge is too limited. Like
Yeah,
I feel like I'm not at a position in my life where like I have the knowledge to say whether somebody gets put to death. Like
I also heard that
I don't want to be the one to make that decision. That's like too much. That's like too much stress on me.
I actually want to be a judge.
Shit,
like for a little
man.
bit, I was like, I could be a judge because I'm pretty reasonable. Like I definitely I'm more lenient than other judges because I understand the struggle and what brought a man to kill somebody.
Yeah.
Just because low income. Like I feel like I'd be more understanding, but the death penalty is one of those things that is super weird because you could either like if you 100% are sure that this person went on a rampage, killed 50 people, right, and then there's no purpose to keep them alive, you could technically say you're down to have them killed, or the death penalty was mine.
Oh.
But then again, all this proof or like all these statistics show that the death penalty doesn't deter crime. That keeping somebody on death row is actually more expensive than just keeping them alive the rest of their life. And you have to think like maybe dying is an easier way or easier. I guess it's like if you're in prison for your whole life, being on a death row is or getting killed is probably a better option for you than just
keeping you alive, right?
Yeah, like
you cost money.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is like if I'm going to jail, sometimes like I feel like some serial killers rather die than be in jail. So you're giving them the privilege of dying than keeping them in a cage,
suffering.
Like letting them suffer.
I don't know, man.
I feel like personally, I feel like the death penalty, all these like dealing with criminals and all that stuff, figuring out what to do with like kids that shot up a school. I feel like that should be our last resort, and I feel like our number one priority will be preventing people from doing this.
Yeah.
So better mental health, better education, try to get people out of poverty, having them like commit less crimes in the sense that you gotta do more community stuff. You gotta teach your kids how to be more respectful.
There's no. I feel like it's a psychological thing, and like it's just so hard because everybody is just like we're built differently mentally too. Like I know for a fact that like I'm not gonna say that my life is hard because I feel like I was conditioned well enough to take everything in, but I know for a fact that like some people would not be able to walk in my shoes. Just with. I'm not saying like once again I'm not saying that I went through like a hard life, but like there's a lot of like psychological damage or like just stress that I went through, and like you have to be strong enough mentally to even get through that, and like it sucks, but like not everyone can handle that, and which is why, like, you know, some people will
Or
take
yeah.
their own lives and shit, or like resort to crime because they feel like that's the answer.
Mm-hmm.
But like, you know, one thing that definitely helped me is just having like just a group that I could turn to, whether it was family or like friends.
Here's the thing, though. How would you be if you didn't have those family or friends? If you were
I'm scared to think of that.
yeah,
Like that's the
exactly.
like
'Cause we never see ourselves as the killer.
Nope.
But honestly, we're like a couple decisions, a couple different ways we
Probably.
grew up from being the same as
Probably.
somebody else. So it's like, it's pretty. We have to be compassionate, I guess.
Yeah,
But
you do.
I feel like with a lot of these problems, we're just looking at them surface level.
Yeah, exactly.
Like if a kid shoots up the school, we're like, oh, it's because he had guns. At the same time, it's like, I mean, a lot of people have guns and they don't shoot up schools. I feel like the issue is way deeper. I feel like we're
Yeah.
looking at the tip of the iceberg.
That's why I feel like, you know, the Joker movie that came
Uh-huh.
out, like I feel like it's great because like you can kind of see like he's I wouldn't say that he was crazy, but like you have to like really look at what pushed him to that point, you know?
Yeah.
Like at that, like try to put yourself in his shoes. I know it's a movie, but like let's just try to put ourselves in his shoes, right? Like you're at a point where, you know, you're getting shit from everybody. Like you have this condition, people, they think you're a joke, they beat the shit out of you. Your own family turns their back on you. Imagine like now you don't have your family. He didn't have friends. He didn't have,
Yeah.
right? And his own, I think like in the movie, his last straw was his idol, right? His idol not turned his back, but like his own idol,
They just
like,
had him on just to make fun of him.
yeah. And like that shit does shit to people. Like everybody has that point,
Yeah.
but it's just knowing of what is that point, you know? Like,
Yeah.
and this is where like,
Oh shit.
it's just
we
crazy
got-
for so many people where it's like you have to have that mental fortitude or like you develop it.
Uh-huh. And somebody's point might be in different spots.
Yeah, exactly.
Like some people could take less, some people could take
Yep,
more.
exactly. That's why.
And then some people, like, I feel like a lot of times, I feel like you specifically require different types of
Everybody learns differently.
like you need, yeah, exactly, you need, sorry, the screen froze for a second, so it kind of it made me forget what I was gonna say. What I was trying to say is that a lot of people, let's say you could take this psychological damage for this long, right?
Yeah.
And that might, and what helps you out is like being with your friends and family.
Mm-hmm.
But that might not work for some people. What might work for some
Yeah.
people might be a different thing.
And even that, like, let's say I had a different group of friends, right?
Yeah.
Like, imagine now, like, they're giving me their opinions when I come to them with my problems, and they're giving me opinions that are actually more harm than good.
Yeah, like, yo, let's go freaking
So, like,
get drunk, bro.
That's why, like, I feel like
run away, son.
the friends that I grew up with, like, I turned out super fortunate. Like,
Yeah.
I'm very grateful for them because I feel like,
What if they were in a gang, son? What if they were in a gang and your
Yeah,
parents
exactly.
were pushing your way, and
and
you're like, yo,
you would turn to them. Yeah,
Yeah.
you would turn to them.
Like I just want to fit in, so let's go shoot up. Let's go
Exactly,
shoot
you
up
know?
the other gang, son. Let's go drive by. You just want to fit
We're-
in. You have
you
a
know,
family. You have brothers to protect
We're
you.
social, exactly. We're social creatures. Like, I think we yearn for like some belonging. You know.
Finished.
Finally, bro.
I gotta pee again.
Nah, that's a big can.
Yeah. Yeah.
We could finish it up, right?
Yeah, we could finish it up. But finish your thought.
But yeah, I mean,
It's a weird
that's
episode.
just how it is. It's like we're creatures that like
Mhm.
you know we kind of want a place to like fit in.
We're social creatures.
Yeah, exactly. Like, you know, it's just comforting.
Yeah. We'd rather fit in with a bad crowd than be alone.
Exactly.
We're real weird, man.
I
Humans
mean,
are real
sometimes they
weird.
don't even know that it's bad. You know, like once
Honestly,
again.
yeah. When I remember when I was growing up, gang culture was super popular.
Yeah, it was cool.
It
Like
was-
with
it was
the
too-
the gangster rap
Yeah,
and shit.
I remember growing up, I was like, yo,
Yeah.
man, I can't wait to have my gang and shit. And I was like, you know, you ride or die, you don't snitch. But I never took it that serious. I never really hanged out with like people in gangs or was in a gang, like. But that's the stuff I watched.
That
And
was
I
yeah, that was the norm.
that was the norm where like you don't snitch. If you have a problem, you fight. If you know you gotta represent where you from, homie.
Nah, that's how that is how it was. You know, like.
Freaking weird.
And
son.
sometimes it's like, as a young kid, you think it's like, you might hurt somebody real bad
Mhm.
without knowing the consequences, and then it comes to bite you in the ass for the rest of your life.
I feel like also as a kid, you're not aware of how, like like other people's emotions and shit.
Yeah, you're
Especially
not.
real young.
Cause like yo, that I was just talking about this the other day, like how young kids like they don't give a like. I mean, it's not that they don't give a fuck. They just don't know better. Cause you're not considerate. You're not thinking of consequences until shit happens. But
you know what? Somebody told me once. I don't know if they made this up or something, but somebody told me like he was like a guy I knew that lived in my neighborhood.
Yeah.
He was like, you should always be scared of like teenagers in a gang.
Yeah.
Because the adults know the consequences. The teenagers don't
they're
know what
young
consequences
and naive, ignorant,
and they're more likely to do something crazy.
Yeah.
So
if you test them.
I think it was a teacher. He was like, yeah.
I
so
believe it, man.
He was like, yo, always watch out with the kids, man. Like the 15-year-old kid is more likely to shoot you than the 40-year-old guy.
Hell yeah.
That knows what could happen.
Now that we're older, you know, you got bills to pay, you got other shit to do. It's just like you're like, yo, some things are just not that important. You know, like our priorities are different.
Them kids don't think that ahead.
Nah, they don't, and I don't blame them. You know, like when I was that age, like I didn't think of shit. I didn't ever think of the day that like I'll be paying bills or like even starting a family. I'll just be like, yeah, I'm gonna do this forever. I'll get there when I get there. You know, like.
Facts. You want to call it?
Yeah, we can end it here.
So we can. This is a weird episode, son. Just another reminder.
Got pretty deep.
Yeah, like if we talk about some sensitive topics, don't take.
Yeah, we're not trying to offend nobody. You know, we're just sharing our ideas.
Yeah, and these are ideas that came from the top of our head.
Yeah,
if they sound a little
from
like,
our limited knowledge.
Yeah. So again, like you can always correct us in the comments.
Yeah,
let us know. We'll say something in the next video because we dumb, yo. We're stupid.
You know.
But there's only one way to learn. It's through talking about it. Like let's say I tell you like something that's super prejudiced. Feel free to correct me because the point is that we like at this specific time I thought this thing, and whether it's wrong or right, that's the thing I thought about. But if you correct me and tell me, oh, you're wrong, actually this is the truth, like your statistic was wrong, then yeah, that's cool, man. We're here to learn. We're not here to tell people what to do. So the most important part is that we're real, which is our channel name. It's been real, motherfuckers. Demonetized because we said real. I mean, we said motherfuckers.
Like, comment, subscribe. Share your thoughts.
Yeah.
Have a conversation with us.
I feel like I will never disable the comments, so feel free to have your own, discussions in the comments. Like if we talk about gun control, we talk about something else. Just argue, guys. Fight. Who's right?
Nah.
All right. Good night. Love you.